going to go ahead and take this opportunity to do a little instructional video today. Let's start with a little credibility. So we just caught this guy in about 20 feet of water. Let's see what we've got. And I want you to take a look before I release him. But look at that jig exactly where it is, directly in the roof of his mouth. Exactly where we want it. There we've got a nice fat 19-inch fish. Exactly what we came here for. Look at that mouth too, really red. Just a beautiful fish. So I want to talk about jig fishing. Let's do that. We'll go over some gear and some techniques. So first and foremost, you guys have heard a lot about this jig on my channel. It's the Buckeye Mop Jig. But I'm going to tell you why I like this particular jig and what's special about it. It's just a flipping style jig with a horizontal line tie. And why I like that is when it hits the bottom, it sits just like this. That fish grabs it, it rotates up, hooks it right in the top of the mouth. What really sets the mop jig apart, this is the green pumpkin color, and what you see are these rubber strands. This is called living rubber. And if you see it in the water, it really pulsates, especially over silicone in colder water, which, you know, it is October, this water is a little chillier. It's also got 2 rattles on it. I've just developed a lot of confidence in this particular setup. I run an Ultra Vibe. It needs to be changed out anyway, so I'll show you this. It's an Ultra Vibe Speed Craw. It's 3.5 inch or something like that, the standard size. I like to cut it off at the back 2 legs. I'll show you how I go ahead and rig one up and show you that. Just the standard size Ultra Vibe Speed Craw. I like it, especially in the fall, because the action is very subtle. It's kind of a tight action with those claws. It's not flapping all over the place, which I think in the fall makes a difference. So I cut, I don't know if you see what I did there, but I just basically cut its butt off just behind the last 3 legs. And you can pull those legs, I mean, those aren't going to matter. Sometimes I pull them off. Push down your weed guard. Go ahead and run that through. Another thing I like about this particular jig is they hand tie it, which is nice. I don't think it makes a difference, but it's just a nice quality jig. The hook's nothing special. I think it's just a must-add Ultra Point hook, but it really sticks them good. Gear-wise, I'm actually experimenting with a different setup today. This is normally my frogging / flopper plopper rod. So it's a 7'4" heavy power. This is a St. Croix Bass X rod. This is a Corrado K, Shimano Corrado K. This is an 8 gear ratio because it is my frogging rod. So I wanted to pick that line up very quickly. And I think that also why I'm kind of experimenting with it is because a lot of times with this jig, they kind of pick it up on the way down. You don't really know the fish is there until you go to pick it up. So if you can't catch up to it and set that hook, that's when you tend to lose the fish on the jig. So this line is a little beefier than I would normally like. I think this is like 60-pound braid. I normally use 30 or 40-pound braid for a jig, and that works pretty good. And this is tied on with a blood knot to a 15-pound Seagar Abraze-X fluorocarbon. Alright, I think that about covers the jig. Let me get back with you here in a little bit, and we'll go over some kind of what I'm seeing in the graph, as well as some techniques I'm using. So yep, same deal. 20 feet deep, hooked right in the top of the mouth. All right, so if you've seen a lot of the videos on my channel, you'll notice that the fall is really my favorite time to fish. It's where you can catch them schooled up, where you can catch them deep, and really the bite tends to be a lot bigger bite for me in the fall, especially when you target those deep fish that are eating those bluegills that are schooled up. So kind of what I'm looking for, usually I'll check points or off of islands in the graph until I find those where the bluegills are schooled up. As that water cools down, I think they school up a little deeper. Those bass sit underneath them and just eat when they're hungry. You drop that jig through those bluegill and they'll just grab it on the way down. So kind of the technique that I'm using. I pick it up and just drop it. Oh, that's a weed. We'll edit that out. Like to cast it out. You know, really know the depth you're fishing. Let that sink all the way down. And that's also why I more than often, especially if I'm if I'm fishing in more than 15 feet of water, I'm almost always using that 5/8 size mop jig, which is the biggest they make it. Just because I'm not terribly patient, I like to fish pretty fast. And that gets down to the bottom a little quicker for me. You know, I don't know if you get more bites, if you're more patient with a lighter weight. This is just what I've developed a lot of confidence in. Yeah. It's a pretty good one, guys. Alright, again, just being patient. Down deep. Rewarded with that chunk right there. Not a monster for out here, but a heck of a nice fish. Again, every time, right in the top of that mouth, just hooked perfect. So I have a lot of confidence in this jig. I swear these guys should sponsor me if you're watching my video.